No jokes there.
What was the focus in the off week? What did you really kind of hone in on with your guys?
We worked really hard on basics, tackling, getting off blocks, and quite frankly, just, playing football. We had some things we had to clean up from the last two games, and it's really hard when you don't have time because you're working on the next opponent. So we spent a good bit of time on cleaning up, little things, and we've had some guys that are, not our starters starting, and so those guys got a lot of good experience, but there were a lot to clean up. So.
What do you guys have to do defensively against the tailback?
Boy, I tell you what, he's got one of the best jump cuts I've seen. He's got great vision. You have to go attack him with more than one person. I see the first person so many times miss because he's thick, he's athletic, he's got great balance. So you have to get numbers there, and I think that's the big thing. We have to get a lot of people there, and his plays that he didn't get 3+ or more was because, not necessarily always because of the first guy, but because you had the second and third guys. So I think population is critical.
You talked to us yesterday about winning the inches and how critical that's going to be against a team like Notre Dame. What does that entail for your unit out there?
Well, I think it starts with getting population to the ball on the running plays. You have got to cup these guys up. They got two great running backs. And, if you do that, then Carr does a great job of getting them in and out of different plays. So you have to defend the run, which we always will try to do well. And then you got to be able to mix it up a little bit coverage-wise.
What makes Carr effective as a passer?
I think he's got great velocity on the ball. I think he throws as well from one hash to the far sideline as anybody I've seen, especially, for a young age as he is. I think he's smart. I mean, I knew his grandfather, who was a tremendous coach, and hopefully I'm not as old as he is, but we're probably in the same era. But, it doesn't surprise me he's got that level of intelligence because he's a coach's family, type quarterback, and you see that in his play.
With Jaden Moore playing against Stanford, it seems like snaps there, or what's?
Yeah, well, I think all those guys are going to still rotate in. When a guy hasn't been in for as long as he has, he's not going to go and play 60 snaps. He just can't do that. And we wouldn't do that anyway. So all those guys are going to continue to rotate. Will he get some more snaps? Hopefully. Sure. Well, it gives you some depth because now some of our kids who were backups have started games, and I think they go out there and they experience playing in the game as a starter in critical situations, and so when they get their time to go back in, which they always will, they've got a little more experience, so they can go out and be a little calmer and play with a little more experience. Well, between game 1 and game 2, I saw 100% improvement. So there's no doubt that being able to go out there and play a lot of snaps, get a lot of reps with the ones, and go out and sometimes fail and learn from it is a good thing. Unfortunately, you don't want to have 11 guys out there failing and learning from it. That's when it gets really tough. So, but those are things that that happen in football, and that's why teams win and lose this time of year sometimes. Just the luck of injuries or bad luck of injuries.
How have you seen your defensive leaders approach the past week and a half just going up against a tough Notre Dame team?
We don't approach it any different week to week. So the kids are working hard. We practice physical. We practice aggressive. We work on our basics every week. And so I've not seen any difference between this week, last week, and the week before because we just go 1 week at a time. And I, being the old guy, my first goal in the morning is to wake up in the morning at my age. So when I get that, I stand up and cheer. And so it's easy for me to show them that we go one day at a time because you're never given a second day. Guys get injured, all those other things. So you got to embrace the day, and that's what we try to do.
When you look back on that 2023 game, what do you just remember from that Marcus Freeman team?
Well, that's the beautiful thing about my age also, is that the Alzheimer's sometimes helps you to forget or to not remember those things. So all I remember is that going out to South Bend's a neat place to play. It's a beautiful place to play, and I'll be excited to play in Acrisure Stadium this year.
Is that selective Alzheimer's? Is that how that works?
Say that again?
That's selective Alzheimer's?
Yeah, I hope so. Some days I would say maybe not as much as others, but yeah, sometimes that's the case.
In the spring and in camp, I think you talked about your optimism. Did they produce what you were hoping for?
They have. That group has rotated in. We've had some guys banged up and other guys have stepped up, and we've just played a ton of guys. Isaiah Neal going from tackle to end to tackle and back and forth. Guys have really stepped up, and as Coach Dews would say, they played defense, which is, I'm doing this for the team, and I'm really proud of them for that.
When you look at college game day and just that message to them, just to keep guys on target.
Well, again, we try to go one day at a time. It's very hard for an 18 to 22-year-old to not look at social media. I think that's, really difficult. But, we try to take it all in stride. And, we're playing a great team. We know that. And we think we're a pretty good team, too. And so we're going to line up and see how it works.
Obviously, a couple of true freshmen have made an impact offensively. What is Sean Lee meant to your group?
Sean Lee is a tremendous asset. In the bye week, I went out to central Pennsylvania and recruited a little bit, and I saw some of the coaches out in that area. And it's amazing. The coaches in central Pennsylvania are not shocked a lick at how well he's done. But he's tough, he's physical, he's smart, and he's made a lot of great plays. And, last Saturday he made a great interception and touchdown. And as I watched him through camp and through the season, I'm not surprised. I'm just excited that he's making those strides.
They're retiring Aaron Donald's jersey on Saturday, of course, and you are coaching.
Yeah, well, what we're going to try to do is slip him into a number and get 3 or 4 snaps out of him before they retire his number. But Aaron's a great young man. I mean, he's always been the best to me. Like you said, I have not coached him, but I've seen him in the weight room all the time, and he's engaged with our players. He's approachable. He's just a fantastic person, not just a great football player. And I'm really excited for him to get his number retired.
You point at him and say, that's what you have to do. That's how you are. If you want to be the best, that's how hard.
I never have had to do that. Guys are smart enough to know when they watch him work. We were blessed all those years he was playing here. He'd come back here and work and lift, and it wasn't hard to see why he was the player he is. And I think it helped our players to see what they had to do to have a chance to play in the NFL.
All good?
All right, guys. Thank you.